Welcome back to another episode of LANCESCURV. I apologize for being so late, but those of you who were here earlier, giant gain, and gifting from earlier. Those of you who were here earlier when we were supposed to start Brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis' show, he had big problems coming into the show. He really feels it was something that was blocking him, and I don't doubt, because this is the age of censorship and they're coming down harder on so many people's channels. And NFN Shaka, Landon Price, NFN Shaka, thank you for that wonderful landscape picture. It was uplifting. The world is big and there's so many wonderful places to live. Also want to say a big shout out of rest in power to James Earl Jones, 93 years old, 7 years short of 100. I did a little quick short on the shorts page there. Did I upload it? It was definitely on TikTok. I'll spread it out, but it's just 60 seconds. And, I didn't have much time to go in depth. There's an article, full life bio on LANCESCURV.com that's there. If you care to go to LANCESCURV.com and just look down, scroll down, you'll see it. Pretty much covers his whole life. It's a quick read, detailed. But like I said, you just never see him or saw him in the modern day drama that a lot of these celebrities get into. If anything, I don't know about it, and that's a true leader. That's a true role model. He never said, I am this or I am that. He just did the damn thing and had a heck of a work ethic. I'm quite sure we'll be finding out work that he did as an actor, a person with the voiceover. He was just all over the place. I mean, when you're passionate about something, it's effortless, and it's a beautiful thing when you can get into your creativity and your passion so much. It's just like the period of my life that I'm in now. I can fully indulge myself in different things and new things and new ways of doing things, and it just hits my brain a certain way. So, I'm quite sure he enjoyed the love of his work through his fans, just the same way any artist would. And he has a special place, Gifty. I saw the earlier message. Now I see you here now. It's good to see you here as always. But we're gonna jump on this. Got a whole lot of notes, and it's gonna take different directions, but toward the end, it's gonna be okay. All right. These days in social media, you have to walk on eggshells, especially when it's not your platform and you don't own it. So you got to know where the line is, and don't even go near the line anymore. Just stay away from the line. But there are ways of conveying your message over and over without crossing that line. And when you do want to go a little harder, go elsewhere, go to different platforms. There's so many different platforms out here that do have strict rules also. It doesn't mean you can go there and do crazy stuff, but they're a little more hungry for the business, so they'll kind of turn their head, and even still be careful that way. Because these people out here, whoever they may be, we know a little bit about them, but there's other factions out there in this shadow government, and we don't know, and we need to, do our emails and do our little conference lines and do those things where we can speak to each other directly. And we still have to know, after the Patriot Act, we don't have any privacy. We don't. Face that. Many people were like, oh, I'm not going to put my stuff out. No. Even if you didn't put anything, you don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be a blogger. You don't have to be any of these things. They can look at all your stuff. They can go in your phone and see all them nasty pictures you send people or send your significant other, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? They know. They just choose not to move in on you if you're not a threat. But let's get this thing rolling. We got a few people here. And again, I keep forgetting that I'm 4 hours ahead of the East Coast of America, and when we get into the daylight savings time thing, it will be 5 hours. Be a little more of a stretch, so I have to stay up a little later to do the shows at the same time, which is no problem, because like I said, this is a joy for me. Reese, welcome on in. You're here. Let's get it started. In the last 60 years, the Black community in America has faced numerous challenges, social, economic, and political. While the civil rights movement of the 1960s paved the way for many advancements, the decades since have seen a troubling trend. The emergence of self-elected Black leaders who, unlike their predecessors, prioritize personal gain over collective progress. These leaders have been elevated not through grassroots support, but through manipulation, charisma, and the backing of wealthy, often non-Black entities that benefit from their influence. The question of why the Black community continues to fall for these self-proclaimed leaders is complex. Historically, Black Americans have sought external sources of guidance due to systemic oppression. But this external reliance has made the community vulnerable to manipulation. Emotion over logic. One of the primary tactics these self-elected leaders use is emotional manipulation. Whether through speeches, sermons, or interviews, they tug at the heartstrings of Black people, bypassing critical thought in favor of emotional appeal. Black Americans, many of whom have lived through generations of trauma, are primed to respond emotionally to charismatic figures who promise change. The desire for representation. Because of the lack of proper representation in media, politics, and business, many Black Americans are eager to support anyone who looks like them, even if that individual is ultimately working against the community's best interests. How about that? False hope and distraction. These leaders know how to play on the community's desire for hope, offering feel-good rhetoric rather than tangible solutions. While the community celebrates symbolic gestures, little actual progress is made on critical issues such as economic empowerment, education, and systemic racism. The modern-day Black leaders of the past few decades have perfected the art of deception, using several tactics to solidify their positions of influence. Co-opting social movements. One of the most notable examples of this is Black Lives Matter. Initially seen as a grassroots movement aimed at fighting police brutality, the organization eventually unraveled, revealing a massive misuse of funds. As the movement grew, millions of dollars in donations were funneled into luxury real estate, shopping sprees, and lavish lifestyles for the organization's leadership. What started as a sincere call for justice became an avenue for personal gain. Selective outrage. These leaders are often visible during high-profile tragedies that generate media attention, positioning themselves as the community's spokespersons. However, their involvement often seems to serve their personal agendas more than the community's needs. When police shootings or injustices occur, they are quick to organize press conferences, but behind the scenes, little is done to affect long-term change. The propping up by external forces. Many of these so-called leaders are backed by corporations or political parties that have no real interest in advancing the Black community. Instead, they benefit from the illusion of progress these leaders create. By presenting themselves as champions of civil rights, these individuals are allowed access to media platforms, funding, and status, all while selling out the very people they claim to represent. Ooh, it's going to get hot now a little bit. Oh, Giant Gain, it showed you memories from 14 years ago, huh? Wow, I like that, Gifty. The place of pure, unfiltered, organic talk. I love that. But here are 10 examples of fraudulent leaders and influencers, and it doesn't mean that these are the top 10. These are just a few off the top of the dome. Number one, well, we're not going to number. We're just going to go, you know the names. Tamika Mallory. Her visible role in the Black Lives Matter movement and corporate endorsements suggests that activism can be profitable. Questions arose about her integrity when she began endorsing luxury brands. Oh, man. Patrice Cullors. one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. Colors faced a backlash after it was revealed that she spent millions of dollars on real estate. Al Sharpton, once a leading civil rights figure, Sharpton has become more of a media personality than an advocate, often aligning with corporate interests and enjoying a lavish lifestyle. Jamal Bryant, a prominent pastor who has been embroiled in multiple scandals. Bryant is an example of religious leaders who use their platform for personal gain rather than uplifting their congregations. Jesse Jackson, although once a close confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Jackson has long been criticized for monetizing the civil rights movement and aligning with corporate interests. Creflo Dollar, another religious leader. Dollar built a multi-million-dollar empire by convincing his followers that prosperity through faith is achievable if they tithe generously, and generously they did. Benjamin Crump, while Crump's visibility in high-profile police brutality cases is undeniable, his effectiveness in delivering justice has been questioned. And many wonder whether his involvement is motivated by personal gain. Steve Harvey, as a popular entertainer, Harvey has used his platform to give relationship and life advice, but critics argue that he is more interested in personal wealth and success than the genuine upliftment of the Black community. T.D. Jakes, a wealthy megachurch pastor, Jakes has come under fire for his opulent lifestyle and aligning more with material wealth than spiritual guidance. Kanye West, while once celebrated for his artistic achievements, West's recent forays into politics and religion have raised concerns about his sincerity and whether he's manipulating his fan base for personal and financial gain. Unlike today's self-serving leaders, figures like Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Johnny Cochran exemplify what it means to truly serve the Black community. These individuals never sought personal gain. Instead, they gave of themselves to the point of risking or losing their lives. Malcolm X, 1925 to 1965, perhaps the most notable example of a leader who gave everything for his people. Malcolm X transformed from a spokesman of the Nation of Islam to a global human rights advocate. He planned to take the U.S. government to task on an international level for its treatment of Black Americans, a move that likely led to his assassination. Muhammad Ali, 1942 to 2016, Ali's refusal to fight in Vietnam, despite his personal and financial costs, showed his commitment to justice and equality. He used his platform to speak truth to power, even when it was unpopular. Johnny Cochran, a legal giant. Cochran fought tirelessly for justice in high-profile cases, defending the voiceless and ensuring that justice was served fairly. His work in criminal justice reform left an indelible mark on the legal system. Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer was a tireless civil rights activist who dedicated her life to fighting for voting rights, racial equality, and economic justice for Black Americans. As co-founder of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, she helped challenge the legitimacy of Mississippi's all-white delegation at the Democratic National Convention in 1964. Her courage in speaking out about the injustices of racism, despite facing severe personal consequences, including police beatings and threats, made her a true leader. Hamer's famous words, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired," continue to resonate as a rallying cry for justice. Assata Shakur, 1947 to the present. Assata Shakur, a former member of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army, is another powerful example of a true Black leader. Though often controversial due to her conviction in 1977 for the murder of a New Jersey state trooper, which she and her supporters contest, her commitment to fighting racial injustice and the systemic oppression of Black people is undeniable. Assata's activism challenged the brutality faced by Black Americans at the hands of police and the government. And even after fleeing to Cuba for political asylum, her writings and advocacy for the freedom of political prisoners remain influential today. Ella Baker, 1903-1986. Ella Baker was one of the most important yet unsung heroes of the civil rights movement, a grassroots organizer and mentor to countless young activists. She worked behind the scenes to build organizations like the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Unlike many leaders who sought the spotlight, Baker focused on empowering ordinary people to fight for their own rights, believing that strong people don't need strong leaders. Her dedication to participatory democracy and her belief in collective leadership set her apart as a true servant of the Black community. Paul Robeson, 1898-1976. Paul Robeson was a multi-talented figure, an actor, singer, athlete, and civil rights activist. He used his platform as a global celebrity to advocate for racial equality, labor rights, and social justice. Robeson spoke out against fascism. I always have a problem with that word, colonialism, and racism at a time when doing so put his career and life at risk. His support for the working class and his condemnation of segregation in the US, along with his outspoken anti-imperialism, made him a target for persecution during the McCarthy era. Despite being blacklisted and silenced by mainstream media, Robeson continued to fight for the rights of Black Americans and oppressed people worldwide. His dedication to justice and equality marks him as a true Black leader who sacrificed personal success for the greater good. James Baldwin, 1924-1987. James Baldwin was a writer, essayist, and social critic whose work continues to inspire people across the world. Through his novels, essays, and speeches, Baldwin explored the complexities of race, sexuality, and identity in America, challenging the nation's hypocrisy on issues of equality and justice. His unflinching analysis of racial inequality and his eloquence in describing the psychological and emotional toil of racism helped many to better understand the deep divisions in American society. Baldwin's commitment to truth, even when it was uncomfortable, and his insistence on moral clarity made him not just a literary giant, but also a true leader who used his voice to inspire real change. Ooh, here we go. Let's dig in deep, but we're going to come up out of this good, though. The secretive Black Boule. One of the most secretive and destructive elements within the Black leadership structure is the Black Boule. This group, composed of influential Black professionals, often operates under the guise of progress, but works to uphold systemic racism by keeping Black Americans in a state of perpetual poverty and dependency. Members of the Boule, often aligned with Greek letter organizations, occupy influential positions in politics, media, and religion. While outwardly appealing to fight for Black advancement, they are, in fact, agents of oppression, working hand in hand with white elites to maintain the status quo. LGBTQ agenda within the secretive network, which is often away from the mainstream LGBT agenda or people. There are increasing revelations about how certain Black leaders have used their platforms to prioritize LGBTQ rights over the issues facing the wider Black community. These individuals, many of whom are closeted, have compromised their positions to serve an agenda that ultimately does not benefit Black Americans as a whole. And we have to understand, when I say this, I am not saying everybody who claims to be a part of that community. But behind that, there's a core, a secretive core. And I've had shows before in the past where many have told me, Lance, you can't say that. But now when they see how certain things are pushed in the media more so, they came back and they said, Lance, I'm not trying to say you're right, but you're onto something there. So this is not an attack on anybody. This is just an assessment of the weather that's coming and has always been there. How would I be if I was a weatherman and told you that it's going to be a sunny day today, but it's very cloudy and about to rain? As you get wet, you'd be very angry with me now, wouldn't you? Seeking true leadership. The modern day Black community faces a crisis of leadership. Too often, it is the most charismatic and visible figures who are elevated, while those who work quietly behind the scenes are ignored. The lesson to be learned is that leadership should never be self-elected. True leaders do not seek power or fame. They seek justice, equality, and the betterment of their people. The Black community must begin to discern who truly has their best interests at heart and resist the allure of emotional manipulation. Only then will they break free from the cycle of false prophets and begin to elevate those who can lead them into true progress and liberation. If Black people truly want to be free and utilize the power they possess within, in conjunction with the God-given leaders that possess divine vision for our collective ascension, then we must hold each of these individuals to the highest standard without any one of these following attributes being suspect, even in the slightest way possible. It's the only way. We cannot compromise anymore with these entities who have deceived us year after year and sadly decade after decade. To truly understand what a leader is, especially in the context of our community, we must first acknowledge that leadership is not about charisma, titles, or how many followers someone has. It's about service, integrity, and a vision for liberation. A real leader looks like someone who is deeply committed to the freedom and upliftment of their people, not just in word, but in action. They prioritize the collective well-being over personal gain, making sacrifices for the future of the Black community. For Black people in America, the concept of leadership holds a unique weight. Unlike other communities that may not require a centralized figure because they are not facing systemic oppression, we are still fighting for our freedom. Freedom from economic disparity, racial injustice, and spiritual oppression. A leader for our tribe, the Black American tribe, must embody the spirit of a Moses, as referenced in the Bible. Just as Moses led the Israelites out of bondage in Egypt, we too require a leader who can guide us toward true liberation from the modern day Babylons that enslave us, whether that's political, economical, or spiritual oppression. Leadership in this sense goes beyond speeches and social media platforms. A true leader is defined by their actions and the tangible outcomes they produce for the people. We've seen leaders throughout history who have been authentic in their leadership. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, figures who were willing to sacrifice everything for the freedom of their people. What qualified them as leaders was their unwavering commitment to the cause, their clarity of vision, and their willingness to walk the path themselves, no matter the cost. The FBI director under J. Edgar Hoover to shoot down any Black messiah speaks to the power and potential that authentic Black leadership holds. Hoover feared the rise of a leader who could unite and empower the Black community, knowing that such a leader could dismantle the structures of white supremacy that keep us oppressed. While many leaders have been taken from us either through assassination, incarceration, or defamation, the blueprint for real leadership remains. So, rather than focus on the false leaders who rise for personal gain or ego, we should redirect our attention to identifying the qualities that make a true leader. A leader for our community must possess the following: selflessness. A true leader prioritizes the well-being of the community over personal gain. Their motivation comes from a genuine desire to uplift others, not from a hunger for wealth, fame, or power. Integrity. A leader with integrity stays consistent with their moral and ethical values, even when faced with difficult choices or the temptation to compromise for financial or social benefits. They remain truthful and dependable. Courage. Leading in the face of systemic resistance requires immense bravery. An upright Black leader must be willing to challenge injustices, confront opposition, and stand firm in the face of adversity without fear or retribution. Visionary thinking. They must have a long-term vision for the community, focusing on sustainable progress, education, economic development, and security. This vision must go beyond immediate concerns and consider future generations. Empathy. A leader who understands the struggles, the pain, and the aspirations of their people can connect deeply with them. Empathy allows leaders to listen, relate, and respond to the needs of the community effectively. Humility. Unlike those who seek fame or status, a true leader is humble and recognizes that they are part of a larger cause. They do not need to be constantly praised or put in the spotlight. Their focus is on the collective advancement of the people. Accountability. They must hold themselves accountable for their actions, decisions, and promises. A trustworthy leader does not shy away from responsibility and is transparent about successes and failures alike. Resilience. Overcoming opposition from powerful entities requires resilience. A true Black leader must possess the emotional, mental, and spiritual strength to persevere through setbacks, betrayals, and challenges without losing their resolve. Commitment to justice. A real leader fights for fairness and equality, advocating for the voiceless and confronting systemic oppression. Their passion for justice is unwavering, and they are not easily swayed by material incentives or pressure from the establishment. Dedication to uplifting others. The leader's success is defined by the success of their community. They are committed to developing programs, creating opportunities, and fostering environments that empower individuals and families to thrive, securing both their personal and collective futures. Sacrifice. Leadership requires personal sacrifice. Those who lead us are willing to put the needs of the collective before their own comforts. Action-oriented. It's not enough to talk about change. A true leader creates opportunities, organizes movements, and takes definitive action that brings real benefits to the people. Spiritual awareness. Many of the greatest leaders of our time have been deeply connected to a higher purpose, drawing on spiritual strength to lead with wisdom and compassion. By focusing on these traits, we can naturally discern who does and does not fit the mold of real leadership in our community. There's no need to criticize false leaders outright, as their inability to lead will become evident when compared to the standards we know a true leader must meet. Our goal is to move forward with the understanding that a true leader for Black people must be someone who leads us to freedom, freedom from the mental, economic, and spiritual chains that bind us. They must be someone who not only speaks of liberation, but actively works toward it, embodying the strength, resilience, and vision required to truly set us free. These traits distinguish a leader of integrity from those who seek leadership positions only for their own benefit. True leaders guide the Black community toward lasting empowerment, personal gain, and security for generations to come. I was a bit long-winded in this one tonight, but I want to, James Will, I see what you wrote. Exactly, James Wilbur. I'm not mad at you. That's some truth right there. You know, we're getting mixed up with so many different things. I didn't say anything specific now, but I just said we're getting mixed up and taken off course. I'm going to drop a link in here because, you know, every show that we do is open mic. If anybody wants to come on in and say something, we will continue on indefinitely until we all get it off of our chest, because we need to have these type of conversations. Because right now, in the age of censorship, oh man. So look, I understand. Let's take a platform like YouTube. I'm not going to say anything because, you know, between the lines, I'm the little bad boy that love to whip on, right? But it is a private platform. So when you go to somebody's house, you need to be able to obey the rules of that house. If you're a smoker and you go over to their house and they say, well, there's no smoking here, well, just kindly don't smoke there. Don't complain about it. Now, see, just because you were allowed to go over to that same house many years ago when the parents were gone who were enforcing the rules, and the dude that you were hanging out with, he let you smoke. But you can't say, well, I used to do this years ago. Why not now? Look, it's their platform. Why can't we create a platform for ourselves? I'm not talking about a knockoff that's watered down. But with all the money we have in America, why can't we submit, no matter who you are, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, right wing, left wing, whatever wing you want to be, why can't we submit to a 5-cent or 10 cents social media tax that's not given to the government, even if it's 2 cents? See, some people might say, oh, 10 cents is too much. I don't think so. I say we need to drop 25 cents on that bad boy. All of us, who they say is only 13% of the population, but yet there's more divisions of people there. We're only 13% of the population, really and truly. Well, what about those so-called Latinos who look like us and who are us, but want to be categorized different? Wouldn't that boost the 13% up? It seems like it's artificially maintained, but we can't speak about that. We can't speak about these things. Everybody else can speak about their woes and their issues, but we're not allowed to say anything about what we got to deal with. We're treated like a stepchild. And I know a lot of stepchildren that are treated wonderful. You know, but that's a term that we use in the black community. Don't treat me like a stepchild. But the bottom line is, our unity will smash through anything that tries to oppress us, but we just have this cutoff switch, y'all. It's an automatic cutoff switch. As soon as we seem to be moving towards something with momentum, it's like something cuts off and we can't get to where we have to go as a collective. But I hate to keep complaining, and it's not complaining, it's just pointing it out. And maybe I'll say this to my dying day, but others don't have that problem. And others in their communities, they do have issues. I understand that. Why can't we have issues but see each other as a whole? And then we can work with those things and why, untangle those things later on. How about that? But we can't. Division has got us. And I have to say, we will never, ever get anywhere as long as we're divided. How are you going to buy a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle? You'll never see the beauty of it until you put it all together. You can look at the box and see how beautiful it is and how beautiful it can be, but unless people take time and sacrifice to put that jigsaw puzzle together, it's never going to happen. So for those of us who are the few pieces that want to connect, let us do that. Let us do that in simple ways on a collective level that we can move forward, maybe not as fast as if everybody was on board, but we have to see some kind of progress, even in a little way. I mean, okay, everybody knows I'm out here at Mr. SCURV. We're building a little home. Well, why should it be that you have to pay for an expensive hotel when you can come here and be with us for free? Ain't that part of the work? Ain't that part of the work? Oh, you can't let them Negroes come on in there. No, listen, if you're not one of my family, I don't mean just DNA, right? You're just not going to come by and get a free deal. If you part of the revolutionaries that I know who are in this chat room and beyond, who may not be here right now, we got to hook each other up sincerely. Whether we receive something back or not, as long as your movement is righteous, you have to feed into it, and everybody has to benefit from it immediately. That's the thing that other races do. They all benefit from it. I remember coming home one night. I went to one of the fruit markets, one of the Asian fruit markets, one block off of Lefferts Boulevard and Liberty Avenue under the A-Train trestle. And there were 4 Asian markets, and they weren't related on each of the corners of that intersection. 4. And there was one that I went to where they had a young guy who was in college, and he was from Korea. That family was from Korea. And we got into some deep discussions. I remember being there sometimes after work, 2 and 3 hours, several nights in a row. We would sit up and talk. And I wish we had a recorder. And you would say, well, what are you talking to a young Korean man about? Well, he observed things in the Black community, and I observed things in the Korean community. And we spoke boldly on those things without any hate, and we learned from each other. I pretty much taught him why we have the mindset that we do from what we've been through, because that's something he sincerely did not understand. And he told me the issues that they had in their community, but at the end of the day, they had a commitment to each other. You see that, Father? The father was back there cutting up fruits and getting ready to put things out on display and get rid of some of the rotten stuff and keep everything fresh. Plus, he was there at night. He was there at night. One of the older brothers was there in the daytime when some of the sisters who were in school worked there. And guess what? Behind the counter, when there was no one to ring up to make purchases, they had their school books there, their college readings there, getting ready to elevate even more. There was another Chinese restaurant right there on 135th Street and Liberty Avenue, Cam's Kitchen. Everybody from our neighborhood knew Cam's Kitchen. And little Cam, I guess there was a father named Cam and the younger one, he would be back there taking orders, making jokes with everybody. Nobody had a problem with him or them. But it was amazing one day. Well, we hadn't seen him for a while, and it's not a place that I frequented, but there's a barbershop next door. There are a couple of people who there's shops and neighborhood stuff. You go out there, and you're going to stand there and talk for a while. Well, this young Cam drove up in a luxury vehicle. And it wasn't flashy, but the thing was I believe, was it he was a lawyer now, or not a doctor, but some type of lawyer. And his practice served the Chinese community and beyond. And how humble he was. He still slapped 5 with the brothers who were out there, stood out there with him for a while, and I thought it was beautiful. But why can't we have those moments in our own community, right? And when he went in to the little shop, the Chinese takeout joint, upstairs, the mother and father still lived there because they always lived close to where they have their business, but eventually they bought other places in affluent neighborhoods because they can afford it over and above. But the funny part about it is, and a lesson that I learned, he wasn't too big to go back. He went back there, either his mother or father in the back preparing stuff, and he took over at the counter. He was dressed nice. Before, he used to have little t-shirts, little black pants, and little white socks, and the little kung fu shoes, the little plastic numbers we all used to buy when we thought we wanted to be Bruce Lee back in the 70s. And he would take orders. He would take orders and put in some hours, even though now his position in life was elevated because he understood where it came from. The sacrifice of his parents, the sacrifice of his grandparents, and that particular Chinese joint was a way for them to finance their coming there. It wasn't a free thing like we're getting with the Venezuelan people, right? But you got to respect that. Why can't we do that? Now, they happened to be kind of cool with those in the neighborhood because they knew better. And I knew other Chinese joints that they had bad attitudes as they took advantage, and people should have really either boycotted it, stopped going there altogether, or learned how to cook your own Chinese food at home, right? We can do that. You see, we can do that, but we don't realize it. We're always going to somebody else and being dependent on them. Listen, I was ready to do the show earlier. I'm up a little later. I'm going to sign it off a little bit unless somebody wants to come in. And it's the thing. Okay, let me see. We have some interesting comments here. Okay, I can't pronounce your name because there's no whatchamacallit in there. But he says, he or she, I don't know. What is wrong with a black celebrity being a black leader? Take LeBron James, for instance. He can get young people to register to vote, to protest, boycott products or services who mistreat us. Ben Crump getting some type of justice or compensation for families done wrong while getting death threats. How authentic is all of this? Really and truly, when you see that they may do a few token things, and I don't know how much the ratio is of cases that Ben Crump has won to those that he lost. But where did he come from? What is he all about? Are these people from the boule, the black boule, who may do a few token things to get you to say, well, they're good people, but they're really working against you? Why can't he talk about them people who censor the media, right? And we talk about the things that they do. You know, exactly, Gifty Sine. Celebrity influencer is not a leader. Celebs influence people, leaders lead. Oh, I would have took 2 hours to come up and say that, what you said. But that's the truth, Gifty Sine. That's the truth. Like I said, the line is out there. If anybody wants to come on in and speak on it, I'm not going to try to put anybody down. Everybody has the opinion. But we can talk about things in an intelligent manner and come to some kind of ascension, right? Because we can all learn from each other, because I've learned so much from several of the people who are on this platform over the years. I've learned so much with different perspectives and things that I just didn't think about. So I don't know everything, and I'm not putting myself up to knowing everything, but I'll try. We can try to hit the stars and be happy when we get to the top of the mountain. Okay. Keen Me says, a white man named Dan Celia from American Family Radio said the Black Caucus is a joke and they called him a racist. Lo and behold, he was right. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, saying the Black Caucus is a joke. They're supposed to be on it a certain way, especially, look, this is 2024. Why are we lagging behind with the basic stuff? Who are these people who are part of this caucus? And they have their gatherings and they have their speeches and they're allowed to say something a little threatening to the system, but the system got them by the balls, right? And if a white man calls it out and it's the truth, it's the truth. You're right, Reese, those celebrities don't care for us one bit. They line their own pockets. But we're so quick to, racist. Well, why don't we take some accountability and make it where they really would have to reveal themselves to be a racist? If they call a spade, the spade is a spade, that's what it is. We use that word to not take accountability. Oh, he's racist. See? No, maybe you're lazy. Maybe you shouldn't be in the position that you're in. Maybe you're wasting everybody's time. Maybe because the position that you have, you know, you get the attention of the ladies, you get perks, or you're in business, you get breaks with the business that you're in. Personal sacrifice doesn't mean you have to be broke. But your love for the people and the love for justice should be so strong, you don't give a damn until the wheels roll off, you're going to make this thing happen. There's no room for fear. Too many people want to be a leader and they're merely an influencer and sit in their comfort zone. Gina E., welcome on in. I was about to sign off, but we got it hot. Leave your comments. And let's get down on this conversation. And again, I'll stay on a little longer if you come on in. Mr. Haru, grand evening. How are you? Long time no see, exactly. Still doing my thing out here, brother. Still doing my thing. That's a lifetime commitment. Some will come and some will go. But when you stand by the finish line, you'll see who it is who really is about doing the work. But yeah, it's leaders. Leading what? Political black leaders. Leading what? Are they going to tell us to be unified? Or why are they so afraid to really speak out? It doesn't mean you have to insult anybody. But we've been getting the crappy end of the dookie stick for a long time. You see what I mean? Thank you, Gina E. Yeah, where are they? Where are today's true black leaders? And if you see below that has the scrolling there, when I remove it, where are today's true black leaders in a world where personal gain and betrayal of the community always comes first? They always let us down. They're always about personal gain. Look, people talk about Al Sharpton. Well, on LANCESCURV.com, there was an article put up last night about Al Sharpton. I had one before years ago, and I was attacked. They didn't like it. And I hate to say they, like it's definite people with certain names. I can't remember their names, but it is what it is, and you could tell they were down with him. And like, hey, we're all down with somebody, and I'm not gonna let anybody attack anybody I love and who I know is right. But they didn't want to hear it. They wanted to put their head in the sand, and they wanted me to shut up. Which you all know that's hard to make me do, unless I'm really, yeah. It's a whole pimp. I'm gonna drop that right here in the chat. I said a little. It wasn't scathing. It was just touching on things, right? I mean, if he can touch on things, I can touch on things in concept. Read between the lines. But really, who is here? I mean, if Malcolm X was alive today, who would he really be getting along with right now? Ben Crump? LeBron James? Al Sharpton? Who? And like I said, my problem with Jesse Jackson is that from the very beginning, first of all, he was standing right next to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We know little things about him. We're not here for that, right? But he got killed. When he made that Vietnam speech after that, they were like, oh, he's going in the direction we don't want him to go into, among other things. But he was killed, and Jesse Jackson was standing right next to him. I don't know about anybody here, but this person who took that shot or shots at Martin Luther King Jr., doctor, he had to be a good shot. And if he was a good shot like that, he had to be highly trained, specifically to go into the purpose of. So that's suspect to me. That's suspect to me, because after that, it's documented that he wore that bloody shirt when blood flew off of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and landed on him. He made sure to visit most media outlets and show his face. And I know it was more than one day. It was more like 2 days. He showed up. It was a psychological implication that he is the heir apparent now to being the premier Black leader in America. Was he compromised, or was he backed up to be somebody who is manipulated by the powers that be? And I hate to be so non-specific, but that rabbit hole goes so deep and we really don't know. You know? And yeah, Gifty, super sus. He me says, remember when Obama went to Flint, Michigan and drunk the water and said it was fine? That's the leadership we have to deal with now on steroids. We need to take the word leadership away from them, because what are they leading? They're leading us to slaughter. And did he really drink the water? You know what I mean? Was that really the water? You know, you just never know. And decade after decade after decade, what if we really had a Malcolm X step forward and speak it like, not insulting anybody, but tell it like it is? Listen, a lot of the things he said way back, 50 some odd years ago, 60 something years ago, 50 something years ago, are true right now. He wasn't trying to be careful in his speech. Yes, now we know on social media platforms, the business of it all is to censor you when you get a little too influential. So you got to be shrewd with this whole thing. It's like boxing in a boxing ring of a fighter who has a powerful right hand. You're going to try to prove yourself to somebody? I'm going to walk right through that right hand. You'll get knocked out. And then what? So you have to be shrewd in this fight. And you have to have a tight circle around you to help advise you. I don't see that. Black politics are a joke. They're tools, if anything. Let's get together and make them jump, make them do. But somebody else has their hand up their backside like a hand puppet, like a marionette puppet. Somebody else is pulling the strings. Right. What did the Rainbow Coalition do again? Exactly. They might as well save the name for the modern day Rainbow Coalition. And although he has his issues now with a little dementia or Alzheimer's, whichever it may be, I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But I know he's out of the public light right now. You may see him some places and they'll catch him on video, but he's not able, you know. But we should know that, though. You see, because I'm not going to sit here like if I'm a prick to the world. Sorry to use that word, but if I'm a prick 24/7 and I transition, don't get up at my funeral or homegoing services. Oh, he was a great guy. I loved him. And then you in the parking lot, that damn dirty Lance. No, keep it real. But if I don't want you to say that, I'm not going to be that. Knowing that even if I'm not that, there's still going to be some haters who gather and want to have the same character assassination, whether it's in life or after you transition. So we shouldn't really be caring about that. We should be walking the straight and narrow and doing what's right. And when you run up against a colleague who may be in the political arenas like you are, and they're saying, well, I don't think we should do that because, you know, but then don't give a damn about getting the perks and getting paid. And if you're living upright in an upright fashion, you shouldn't be scared about somebody revealing something about you. But in many of these groups, you have to compromise yourself. So your little secrets have to be protected and you're not going to act out of order or they'll be revealed. So these people are compromised beyond compromise. And we'll never see that. Not because I'm getting up in the chronological years, but I remember seeing things and trying to figure out why is this always the same case? Year after year, election after election, and nothing changes. It's the same old thing. That means the politicians involved on a lower level are the do-boys for the bigger system. Makes you wonder. Would reparations solve the issues I speak of? Would we still need a black leader? 1 million each tax-free services rendered. You can't give reparations to a foolish people. Many will cry for it, but the Koreans, other Asians, Germans, Europeans, Indians, everybody else would benefit from reparations. At first week it came out. And after it hit everybody's hand, black hand in America and beyond, because there are people like myself who live out of the country, but I'm an American, and if they give out reparations, well, they don't want to give it to me because I know what to do with it. See, a lot of people, a lot of us black people, we don't want to admit it. We could be in well-paying jobs, right? We could be making it and don't have any bills, paying our bills on time. But we got something about us that we have to wear our wealth on our shelf, on our sleeve. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something, a little shelf I have to put up tomorrow. I'm getting tired, so I'm talking out my head. We want to wear our wealth on our sleeve and show everybody we have this and we have that. I'm the exact opposite. I'm into looking poor, and I'm not a rich dude, but I'm not going to bring any undue attention to myself because, oh yeah, we got reparations and it's party time now. You know how many clubs are going to have shootouts the weekend after reparations are given out? Look, we pump our chest out when we get paid the tax return. We feel like we can buy anything with that little $3,000, $4,000 we get. And if it's more, so what? You can't do everything. Let me put this up. We have Dr. Claude Anderson, who lived through the civil rights era and who said that black leadership is working against us, but it fell on deaf ears. Now it's revelations time. Key me? Yes, 100% truth. 100% truth. But we don't want, I'm not saying you or anybody here, I'm just saying it in general. We don't want to listen. We are the progressive modern day, and racism is not the way it used to be. Yes, it is. It's more sneaky. And these people who run around in these organizations and groups of the secret handshakes, they're going to defend that because they're getting it under the table. They're getting the privilege. Yes, little Negro, you'll always be with, you'll always have, and you'll always have privilege in the system. Just fool the other darkies and make sure they're confused. Okay, Pastor? It's pastors too. And like I said before on other shows, and I'm going to keep on saying it, just because somebody has a black business and a black community or black neighborhood, is more neighborhoods than community, and hire black people, don't mean they're for black people. It could be a shield and a cover. And I want to give big ups to a man who I know most likely is not with us anymore, but for the people in my old neighborhood in Jamaica/Richmond Hill, Queens, right there on Liberty Avenue and the Van Wyck Expressway Service Road, J.B. Cherry. He sold office supplies, early fax machines. This is way back in that time. And he used to talk business with every young man who came in there, including myself. He would give us a tip on investing or how to deal with banks. And this man, he had a daughter. I think he had a daughter and a son. The daughter looked just like him. And I know she's with us. She's younger than me. Maybe she's not. I don't know, but pretty much. And she was not wearing designer anything. She didn't have all this ton of makeup on her face. She didn't have this fake hair, nothing. Because she didn't want that. It wasn't like he was trying to make her not have that. But you could see that he raised her up from birth. And we have people who are older who should understand. I'm not saying to not enjoy life. And enjoying life doesn't mean you have to go out and spend a whole lot of, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. Does it mean that? Blowing money, and where are you spending it? What was it? Dr. Umar said the other day, look, many of us have a little issue with him, but the brother does speak the truth, factually. And he has a kind of mind that can see through a lot of stuff. And that's why people don't like him. I know saying things 3 times over and all that stuff, it makes it comical. He's just saying some things you're not going to hear anywhere else. And there are a lot of people who are afraid to sit down and speak with him. Look, he's a man. He likes women. I'm not going to hold that against him, especially in the climate where they're trying to take our children away from being who they are. Gender, excuse me, identity. This thing got me hicking up. Gender identity. What are you worried about a 5 or 6 year old? Come on now. This is a sick world that we're in. but the black leaders are not saying anything against it because it's not proper. Then you ain't no damn leader. You're a black flunky. You're there to mislead. You're there to take us off course. You mean us no good. That's why I don't like politics, really. And black folks flock up under that. If we abandoned politics right now and came together in our best interest, because these people don't want to hear anything about us progressing. You heard that Kamala Singh. What's the Indian lady's name now? The shapeshifter. It's got to do for everybody. It ain't funny. It ain't funny. And I got a bone to pick with a lot of you black folks who let her slide by shape-shifting. They think they can come and talk about they washing greens in the bathtub. Hillary Clinton carrying around hot sauce. They think they can just come at us with these gimmicks and we love them and we'll ignore the lies that we so obviously see in our face. There are a lot of Kufi certificate and degree holding ninjas out there. You're right. You're right, Gina. For real though. Whether they have some kind of, you know, when you go into the supermarket, right? A nice prime supermarket. And where the vegetables are, they have a thing that shoots out a little mist to keep them hydrated and to keep them moist. Not a sprinkler system, a little mist. Every few minutes you psst. And when you're there, oh, look at that, the mist. Right? There must be some kind of mist over maybe that's that stuff they're spraying over the black communities. Kamala dust. Who knows? Some crack in there too. And we inhale it and intoxicate it. And that's why I love making them little anti-Kamala shorts. It's a joke for me. You know, I mean, it's funny to me. It's not funny what can happen if she wins, but it is funny at this point. I can't even get mad. People get, we gonna vote for her anyway. Well, tell me how that's working out for you. You want somebody standing over a red nuke button? It was a pretty button. Okay. Let me see what happens when I push it. Boom. Now you got all kind of missiles coming back at America. You want somebody like that? Who ain't got no sense? It's crazy. Let me see here. Gifted said, leaders are willing to die on the hills they climb. Ooh, that's a t-shirt. That's brilliant. That's right. Gina says they think we a joke. Remember when Bill C played the sax? Oh yeah, Bill Clinton. All the Kufis thought he was black because he had a little fake ass rhythm, allegedly. Exactly. Akeem me, I'm sorry. We have a bad habit of voting for nothing, but there is a change happening now, however small it is. It's a start. Well, we're waking up a little more. And that's what social media doesn't want. See, as long as they can use social media to brainwash you, they're good with it. But now, like, they've gone too far with the foolishness. Right, standing over that button after a drink. No, she'll sit on it. Oops, I sat on it. What does that button do anyway? And she ain't got to worry. They got their bunkers to run to. Kamala crack. Exactly. It's amazing. This is like science fiction. Chrissy, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you here. How are you? Gina E says black looking people love giving their energy away. It is energy harvest season. We have to be careful. Exactly. And we're giving it away. You want more, massa? I'll exhaust myself for you, massa, because I know you don't have the melanin to capture all this spiritual energy. So we'll just give it to you. Just give us a place at your table and a plate. We just want to be up with certain people so bad, we'll tell the secrets. You gotta be like, what's the name? I won't tell your secrets. But our song goes a whole lot different. I will tell our secrets. Because living in your community means so much to me. We'll sell out. Yeah, we sick, massa. Gifty says, some would-be leaders are hesitant to stand up, though, because leaders need loyal followers, and most of our folk abandon our leaders. Oh, that's the truth. That's the truth. So as a rumor goes around, like, I heard this and I heard that. And you as a leader marching forward, figuring you have an army of righteous people who understand the mission. And you turn around and you see them all hiding behind a tree. You see the backs of them running the other way. See? So for me, like I said, I think about 92% of us are gone. And there's a great part of that 92% of Black people in America who are very smart and shrewd, but they can't control their emotions. At the last minute, you ever see somebody switch out at the last minute? For whatever reason it may be, they just switch out at the last minute. You're like, wait a second, we talked about this. What you mean, you change your mind now? Well, you know, I thought about it. And what? Most of them will switch out. You know, Moneybag says white people ain't got no leaders, but they got that code thing going on. They know. I was in the mall the other day, and there was a class of mixed children. Some white, and they were from America, and some Black, mostly Black. 25% white. Little white kids. I'm looking like, man, I ain't seen a little white kid in a long time. Last time I saw one was on the commercial on TV. So I'm sitting there just kind of chilling, people watching and observing, because you know I live in the mountains. So when I get down into the city, I kind of tarry a bit when I have the time. And so I'm observing them, and they're the ones pushing the kids, and they're kids, so I didn't want to take any kind of video of them. I mean, they were like about 8, 9 years old, but that's like kind of creepy for somebody who doesn't know what I do. But that would have been the perfect short. These little white kids in Africa acting up already, beating up on and the Black kids are just letting them. So symbolic of what goes on here. Like I said, they're spraying something in the air, but I feel that the number is about 92%. I picked that up out of a hat, right? I plucked that number from the sky. And it could change. Maybe next week I'll say 85. Maybe next week I'll say 97. But the majority just can't leave it alone. You know? like 45 records playing on replay. Same old damn song, you're right. Yeah. Today's crime very senseless off emotion. Yes, Landon. White people do have leaders, millions of them, Gifty said. Did not go take them to see the kids with all the flies on them, with the big stomachs. The whole of Western culture represent leaders for white kids. Yep. They know what to do on code when they get older. They can act Black, wear dashikis, and talk slang, but when they hit a certain age, like, you ain't bringing that around here no more. No way. We don't play that. We dying out, the sun don't like us. No. You can go mess around with something Black, but don't bring it home. We know you got that little fetish for it. A lot of them do out here. And a lot of us here out in the motherland are so stupid to have the same type of thing, thinking that because of what they see on social media, that white people have it better and they're living better. And I want to marry a white man. Yes, I heard a woman say that the other day. I want to marry a white man. I asked, I said, well, what is marrying a white man going to do for you? Oh, I will have a better life. God, dog, in the motherland, I came all this way to hear this? What? Oh. That's why when I go out with my camera and I talk to these people, I'm not going to cut nothing out. I got to make you hear everything. Everything. Memorandum 46, alive and well. We should already memorize the Willie Lynch letter. That's old news. It's still true, but Memorandum 46, what they're doing to keep us apart globally, that's what we need to be focusing on, and do the opposite. It's the same thing. Any friend of an enemy is an enemy of mine. Any enemy of an enemy is a friend of mine. Ooh, a friend of mine. Do 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 do. Gifty said, white kids leaders are on the face of every bill, currency, and all the heroes they teach about in history class, inventors, and all the greats in history are said to be white. Ancient Egypt was white. I'm telling you, that's what they want you to think. And GD said, right, don't procreate with them either. So many powder faces with beautiful, very dark men and women. Yeah, exactly. Gifty says, Jesus, God himself is white. Those are all the leaders for the white kids. Exactly. And it's so ingrained and internalized and embedded, you can't tell them anything else. And we bring our kids to believe in the same thing. So it's embedded in us. And then we get older and we just can't go against the Jesuses that oppress us. See, because they think that that's who it is. When you're told something your whole life, and it becomes so internalized and it's normalcy that the gods don't look like you. That these inventors and famous people who were instrumental in bringing about the modern day amenities in society, oh no, we're not good enough. It has to be somebody white to get their hand of approval on it. Mm-hmm. Well, the only influence they have is from what they stole from us. When you really dig down to it, they're not the creators of anything good to influence. They're thieves. And the thief doesn't steal from you right away. You could be hanging out with a thief and he knows you're a multimillionaire with a nice mansion. Yeah, I'm gonna be friends with you for 3 or 4 years and get up in that mansion. And you're gonna think I'm cool with you, and you got to leave out of town. And you say, hey, buddy, I'm leaving the keys with you. I'll be back in a few days. I need you to look after my house. Worse, if you say, look after my house and my wife. You might be eating a whole lot of stuff, not in the kitchen either, enjoying stuff all over that house too. That's how they move. They come at you nice. And after a while, they take their time. See, we too trusting and too loving as a people. You know? This is why they gave us a transgender blue-eyed sky daddy. Gifty says they stole our greatness and names and took them to be leaders of their culture and kids. So they don't need a leader. They have thousands. Exactly. Everywhere they turn. Yeah. Every step you take, every move you make is a Caucasian leader. Baby, can't you see? Nothing good can come out black like me. Have you really believe in that too? Are they using us? Saw an article that I didn't even read it. I got mad at the title. The 10 poorest African nations. And before I even looked at it, I might go back and look at it. I might do a show on it. I said, I wish I can ask the author, why? Why is it that we have so many resources over here and it's the top 10 poorest nations in Africa? Right? And they're so rich with resources. Why? I'm not going to give the black leaders a pass now because they're just as guilty. But you vampires, that's all I'll say. You vampires. That's right. Who taught you to hate yourself? Malcolm X, right? That's what he said. Gifty says almost most white kids know lots of doctors, scholars, lawyers, and wealthy businessmen who live in their communities. What percentage of black kids personally know black doctors and lawyers, etc.? Exactly. Exactly. Money bags, depopulation agenda. When the last time you seen a real white person with blonde hair and blue eyes? Exactly. With that white look, that ice look. Gina East is so disrespectful with those type of articles. That's part of the brainwashing. I don't know why. Oh, why? Why is it? Can I ask you? Why is it? That happens every now and then. I just got knocked off. And all of the other screens I have on both computers were not affected. Hmm. Things that make you go, Yeah, yeah. It's gonna whenever that happens, maybe it's a glitch or a bullet, maybe it's just some kind of coincidence where my internet doesn't glitch off, but only one page that has the program that this show is streaming through my phone. if you left, but I had to restart everything. I had to stop my computers. I said, okay, maybe it's pulling too much. But they with them games again. Whenever you start saying certain things, and it's not paranoia, but now they're so selective. What freaked me out was how the one page on both the computers and on my phone disconnected. Everything else was working good, refreshing, and going other places. I checked. So I had to this time. It was a strong one. So I shut the computers down. Now I'm operating strictly out of the phone. So let's see what they do now. We were getting down. Oh no, they can't be talking like that. Only time they can talk like that is when there's two people on, him and just a moderator. uh See, we know the tricks of the trade already, so it doesn't even bother me. When those things happen, just hold tight. It may happen again. If it happens again, I try to come on in one more time. But like I said, we got the word out on certain things, and I read off my notes, and that's good enough. And like I said, we fellowship here and congregate here, and there's other places we can do that also. You know, and again, no matter what, it's all about the site, LANCESCURV.com. Independent. I'm not going to push YouTube and push Facebook and push all those things where they can push us around. Everything will always be embedded safely on LANCESCURV.com. So if I get knocked off of these platforms for good, I'll always be there. Indigo King in the house. Wow, the chat room is pretty with all them wrenches. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to wrap it down right now. Not because that took steam out of me or nothing like that, but I was supposed to do the show from 9 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Eastern. And when everything worked out right, like I said, Brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis, he just couldn't get in. And we had the show go on, and you see the thumbnail up for the prior show today. But I'm going to do the little switcheroo tomorrow when I wake up and put that show for him to come on Wednesday evening at that same time, 7 my time. What is that? 3 o'clock Eastern time. So, and everything else that follows behind it. So yeah, and I'm going to try to do a few little things to stop any interference and stuff. But as soon as you conquer that on one level, here they come with something else, you know. And but I'm good though. I'm good. I'm glad everybody's here. It's good to see your names here. Good to see that you're all doing well, even when we go through things. But we can always vibe here and greet each other and have fun and whatever. And again, remember, you know, anytime you want to talk about a topic, just bring it up. Say, hey, let's talk about this. I'll do a little research and I'll do my best to bring it forward and let's talk about it. It's not like I'm a dictatorship where it's only have to be things that I want to talk about. No, 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 no. That's a challenge too to other people. You know, that I bet you won't talk about this, Lance. I bet you I will. And I'll go in deep. Yes. Yes. Oh, the final good word on the topic of leadership. You got to be about it. When you're a leader, it's a definite higher calling from above. I'm saying symbolically from above. It's from within. And we have so many fraudulent people that claim to want to be that. And I'm not going to knock them anymore. It's about us. We have to be spiritually connected on a higher level so that we can identify the frauds from the real people. And it's a feeling. When that person who is a true leader has that on their heart to complete their mission, regardless, no matter how much the tires roll off, no matter how much they got to get out of the car and ride a bike and the bike goes flat, you got to get on a skateboard, then you got to just use roller skates and just walk until the soles of the feet are out, the shoes are out. When you have that kind of energy around you and you know it's the real thing, you know it's the real thing. But you can only know that when you're spiritually connected. I'm not talking about any kind of religion. I'm talking about from the source, from your creator. You see, and those different qualities that they have to have that we read down the list, they have to have all of it, and they have to be completely transparent, and they can't be afraid to answer the questions of the people who may feel there's certain things going on suspect. You should be able to answer it. When somebody's smearing your character, you should be strong in unsmearing it. Not to fight with the person who's running around talking about you, but to stand tall and say, well, if you want to believe that stuff, go ahead and believe it, but this is not the truth. This is not what I do. And keep it stepping, right? hopefully we'll move into a period where we can see more real leaders. But my real feeling is that since we are drawing in a time where the oppressors are on their way out, see, they don't want you to think that. They want you to think they're in total power, but they're on their way out. And since they're on their way out, they're going to flood the world with more weird ideologies, false leaders to fool us and dupe us. We're going to have to really be sharp. We're going to have to really hone that gift of discernment to the utmost. That's the only thing we'll be able to depend on. Those downloads from the Creator and what we know this world to be, because it's becoming a very wicked battleground. Look at America right now. I mean, a few years ago when this thing first came out, even before then, different things, whatever. But I'm thinking about the America of so many decades ago, where there were still always issues, but not to this magnitude. Oh, man. It makes you wonder, how much time do we have left? There's just so much going on in the world to keep up with. But a true leader will keep you on the path through his example. And that's what we have to look at. These political leaders, not a one of them is going to lead you to the promised land. Not one. It's got to be a real leader 360 degrees around, who's all in. Like a Malcolm X, who died broke, had a wife and daughters, and was so committed to what he saw to be right and did so much and came from so far. That's why you can't knock people when they're young and making misjudgments. You don't know if you're looking to the next Malcolm X, male or female version. I'm not talking about transgender foolishness. I'm talking about a woman who has that spirit in her. You never know. Let's just nurture, feed into, and do the best for the youth, because chances are that's where it's going to come from. The earth replenishes itself, and our community should do so also. But we're so dysfunctional that we don't. We stay emotionally constipated with the old stuff from the old days. Yes, we went through a lot. But we have to forge forward in unity to know what it is that we can accomplish and to shake off those stereotypes that so many of us have digested deeply into every fiber of our being. And if you can't let go of it, we got to let go of you, because we can't have you mess up our future. But that old toxic foolishness that came from somewhere else, it is not conducive to our advancement, our progression, and our ascension. It's very important that we do so. And anyone who speaks ill of anyone who you know to be good, you get rid of them. It's time to load shed. Let the 92%, and that's just my percentage, could be 83, it could be 99. Let them go with their massa. And when the crap hits the fan and they realize they made the wrong decision, beating you down, but having the ability to do critical thinking and think logically with common sense, let them stay with their masters. Let them stay. Let them stay. Oh, Chrissy, thank you so much. I'm going to come back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. None of mine, like I said, on the weekends I've been doing stuff, but there'll always be the conference line. There'll always be uploads and different things. So that's always a given. You know, and tonight I was supposed to do the show from 9 o'clock my time, which is 5 o'clock Eastern, right? But Neil Frazier had some problems getting in on his show. And my phone just dropped out my hand. I hope I didn't hit the wrong button. Okay, yeah. So I started later. I was supposed to start at 9 my time. I started actually 2 hours and 45 minutes later. So it's 1:19. I'm not complaining against that, because I'm going to get into REM sleep so quick. It's so quiet out here. But yeah, we're going to keep on. We're going to keep on making it happen. And I want to upload more live stuff, stuff out in the street, stuff talking to people, stuff. I keep the cameras with me like a cop keeps a gun, and I'm going to utilize them. We're going to vibe, and we're going to talk, and I promise more content. But thank you so much, Chrissy. Thank you so much. You fit right on in because you family. There's always a place at the table for Chrissy and everybody who's here. And if it seems like there's not, we'll feed the masses with the fish and the bread, right? The couple of loaves. But yeah, I live this. This is what I live. I could have abandoned it and say, "Oh, I'm out here now," and no. Mm-mm. This gives me life, and it just rejuvenates me. And I seriously love you all. And just like, I'm not saying I'm somebody's mother or father, but you know how you love all your children, but you love each one in a very special and unique way. So I love each and every one of you in a very special and unique way. I really do. And it keeps me driven to continue to do what I do. And that's real love from the heart. That's real love from the heart. But I am unfortunately going to sign off right now. And I do want to have some lighter shows where we do a little comedy. We tell some stories from the past and some craziness or whatever. And I'm not going to go too lewd. I'll insinuate things with really funny things that we've been through, and I'll tell some stories over again since the old channel's taken away. Just for the new folks who don't know the vibe on different levels, you know. So we're going to continue with this week. We're going to continue with another deep topic tomorrow night. I'll be on time unless these powers that be try to mess around, but there's always a way around it, you know. So yeah, much love to you all. Let me find the right buttons to get this thing straight. And I hate to go. I really hate to go. But tomorrow's another day, and we're going to do another good topic. And I'm looking forward to being around all of you, you know? So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to play some music, wind it down a little bit on the way out. And like I said, we're going to come back tomorrow. All right, y'all? Much love, much love, much love to you all. All right. It sounds like I'm about to doze off, but I'm halfway there, but all right, y'all. Much love.
Globetrotter, so shocker. I keep it in the chrome locker. Don't rocker, I counter it with no offer. I don't wanna, I'm too busy, so chocker. Call me Mr. Roadblocker. I make a whole number turn to an eighth. Learn from mistakes, got the whole world on my plate. Nothing worse than my fate. Say your words get burnt on a stake. Took a turn for the cake, so we turn and we say, always had the power, open up from deep within. There's something that empowers me to draw a line under my sins. I never understood why there was such a way to live, and I'm stuck against a wall that keeps defining me as him. I'm painting never-ending canvases while I wrap them up in bandages and coexisting while ending what my anger is. Paying for no damages, I'm speaking universal languages. Out here, always seem to see the light. Never meant to be the vibe, but severed every reason why. Freedom got me talking all this peace and light, but wouldn't think twice to give a beating to an evil guy. Cause I'm worked up and worked out. I've served up and swerved down. Try turn up, not turn round. Keep that vibe up and serve sound. Rise up and burn down.
Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it. Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it.
Shit. A go-getting headbanger. You best go get your best hammer. I'm getting dough, let the rest hang up. Catch me rolling in the 10 manner as I'm rolling up a king banner. It's like I saw it as it happened. It's like I'm orbiting round Saturn. I saw my chance and made a run for the light under the skies where we form an orderly fashion. Tried to take a course without crashing. Someone put some sauce in the wagon. Feeling slightly more debauched, racking rails of this flake, but I guess they say it's all about balance. Or whatever helps you sleep at night. I got that chem dog creeping through the reefer pipe. Is this the end of being in the deeper side? It all depends on the people and their feelings, right? Burnt out, too much working on the other side. Trying to be other guys, but never let it slide. Turns out I'm a demon in disguise, acting like you never seen it in my eyes. Not a lot to say, but got a lot of reason to be nice. So lock it off today and drop it off from evening into night. I got a proper way of speaking from my mind, and I won't stop today, been peaking all my life.
Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the illest, find time to come with it. Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the illest, find time to come with it.
To the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. End of days coming down to seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby.